It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. I wanted to give you guys another forum video to discuss a bit of a more funny topic for me personally. I think this is quite ridiculous to say the least. And I think you guys would really be interested in really hearing about this particular topic today. So, the title is, I haven't seen Xenomorph for 2 years, no joke. And funny enough, right? Once again, it's like, it feels like we have to constantly state the obvious, but last time I checked, the Xenomorph is not a high-tier killer with any real good mobility. I have to say, I mean, it's a really strange, like, why are we not seeing characters that nobody wants to play when we're under a meta like the one we're in, where gen speed over everything, heal speeds are through the roof? I mean, weird. I mean, that's strange. Even exhaustion perks have gotten buffed with a recent chapter release on top of Vigil being updated, and that's strange. Sprint burst is meta. That's odd. Free speed boost with no interaction for the killer. That's such a strange thing to hear. Wow. Let's continue. They say, out of all the horror franchises, Alien is my most favorite one. P100, Ellen Ripley, and of course Xenomorph, but I played 90% Survivor and 10% Killer. So they are indeed a Survivor main, crying that they aren't seeing their favorite license being played when, for some reason, throughout the entire post, do we ever see anything talking about the actual ridiculous gen speed issues, and amongst that, the meta issues that people are having? Let's continue though. I was bummed out Ellen Ripley didn't have the face likeness of the real actor, which is Sigourney Weaver, I believe that's pronounced. What disappoints me the most is there's nobody playing Xenomorph besides me, apparently, lol. I mean, but you don't really play any killers, so regardless. They say, I can understand why nobody does though. The fact that Xeno isn't a real stealth killer and Xeno's power can be disabled by turrets. Unlike the movies, Xeno has no chance to get close to anybody without the damn turret peeping from miles away with its motion tracker. Also, a chance the tail attack doesn't always register. The nerf to his tail attack also did numbers to him. I think this particular Xeno is in this from the first movie was female, but that's besides the point. I'm sure how to change Xenomorph without making it overpowered or underpowered. His power is burdensome to balance due to turrets and whatnot. Adding undetectable aside of the tunnels will make any difference due to the motion tracker from turrets. Making his tail faster but turrets stronger would make or break his power. Adding additional game mode stuff like face huggers is funny but strange, since it would instantly kill survivors. Do you perhaps have a good idea for Xenomorph? Now, let's take a moment. So let's take a moment and ask ourselves, why would we not be see a character like the Xenomorph in the current meta? I mean, like I've stated before, like, I really don't understand why it's just such a foreign concept that, oh, I don't know, maybe the gen speed, the heal speed, the map design, I mean, palette density, I mean, lack of mobility, buggy power, awful power design. I mean, like, why do we have a character that is known to be extremely stealthy, like literally the pinnacle of science in the movies, right? Like literally the killing machine, like designed to be the ultimate predator, right? And is bested by a couple of flamethrowers and a people with pieces of wood. What? Like, it makes no sense. This is the same character that is known to literally be like coming up to you and you would never know they're there. It's literally the Xenomorph. And you have like everywhere you go. Huh? Like, excuse me? Like, why do we have that? Why do we have that? What? Like, in what universe does that make sense? It's like if Ghostface had like this weird feature where if he gets close to you, you hear your phone ringing really loudly, so you just know he's there all the time. It's like, are we being like stupid? Like, You know, like, it just makes no sense to me that, like, that's just somehow a foreign concept, right? Because, like I keep saying, the character's power, like, already is pretty bad. The teleport, it's alright. Like, you know what I mean? At least you get a little bit of info. You can hear in the tunnels and stuff like that. But, like I've said, it's Turret City, which makes no sense. I don't understand, like, why that even is a thing where it's like you need the flamethrowers to take him out of crawler mode and all this type of stuff. Bad design. Okay. Keep in mind that as well, that a character like Xeno is reliant on hitboxes. And as we know, collision and hitboxes are not behavior strong suit. Let's really be honest. I mean, we have seen it before with Blight. We've seen it before with Wesker, who nobody really plays anymore either. The second we have characters that involve anything that has to do with collision, walls, invisible walls, let's rest in peace, Deathslinger. Like, stuff like that. I mean, what do we expect is going to happen? Right? I mean, I don't know why that's such a foreign concept. And it's like, I personally don't like, I would like to have played Xeno, right, on their release, because I'm an Alien fan too, right? Love the horror. I love a mass majority of the slashers that appear in this game. And it's like, what the hell? Like, why is it like this? Like, why are these licensed killers always so terrible? Like, they're always weak as hell. Their powers are usually terrible. Don't represent the character well. And it just doesn't make any goddamn sense. It goes without saying. But let's go ahead and continue. So they say, for starters, I would revert the slowdown nerf he got alongside the bug fix for his missed tail attacks. Yep. That definitely was something that caused it for sure. This person says top 5 played killer, least played I should say. I think he's still there. On Nightlight it's more top 10 least played, but in general stats he's probably even lower, maybe even top 5. After the buffs, and it doesn't surprise me. Kind of stressful killer with turrets and not many survivors like him. Which, honestly, I don't really think as a killer player you should be concerned if survivors like to face it or not. This person says, for me, it's just boring to play as, which, yeah, that's also a good point. They say the turrets are too annoying for me to play them with any regularity. Any game against halfway decent survivors is turret simulator. It's tedious. Exactly. But keep in mind that this is behavior we're talking about. They will never bug fix Xeno. They will never rework Xeno. It'll take years for that to ever go even cross their minds. And it's stupid and ridiculous. It's terrible. So let's read this one. This one's pretty good. It says, I think the main issue with Xeno's pick rate is that killers with short range projectiles have become a pretty saturated archetype. We've got Nemesis, Unknown, Dracula, Springtrap, and more. They're all either stronger or less punishing. So why would anyone want to play the one that lets survivors burn you out of your power? It's frustrating demanding of the player, which immediately puts off people from learning it when the other options exist. Which I agree with that too. I agree with that too. It makes complete sense. Because at the end of the day, other characters can do similar things. Like Nemesis, for example, which kind of hits in a similar way, but not really. Pyramid Head can even hit through walls and things like that. And obviously even Dracula with the the flames. So what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, of course it's Xeno. Like, I don't blame people for not playing the character. I don't even play the character. The only reason I would is because as an Alien fan, I would P100 the like the Xenomorph. Cool. But without that, of course, say it wasn't Xeno, like say if it was just a random original character, I wouldn't even play them. I just think it's, as it's even been stated, extremely tedious. Like, I don't want to have to juggle the stupid turrets and then have to also deal with the dumb hitboxes and the way, and then like the tail is just buggy at times where it's like the hitbox from the ground is gigantic or something while the walls are like a little bit too tall or whatever have you. It's ridiculous. Then this person says Xeno is the chillest killer in the roster. If nothing works out, you can just hide in the tunnels where the survivors can't hurt you. Almost like the nurse hiding behind the gates, but better. It's actually pretty good. And it says, too balanced. People don't want a killer that pre-warns survivor to encourage pre-running, and people don't want to give survivors an effective sprint burst as turrets or chase killers. It's like, what are you talking about? It's not too balanced. I think it's underpowered. Like, there's no character like Xeno that gets gutted by their counterplay that heavily. The only one I could think of that's similar is Singularity, but their power is so good that you can just instantly place like the orb again, or the eyeball, or the ball sack thing, whatever, back on the wall when you need to, at any time that you need to. So with this character, it's like you're getting burned. It's like, GG's, good luck. It's like, come on. This person like says that it was Chucky that kind of caused that, but I'm like, nah, I don't think so. This person nails it. He goes, I wonder why. Is it because of the super oppressive counterplay, the mediocre anti-loop, the bad camera placement, the mobility, the map mobility that's RNG, the meh ads? It's so true. Yep, bland killer. It says there's nothing interesting about Xeno, makes you want to play him. And yeah, I do agree with that it shouldn't involve the eggs and face huggers, but we got alien with tail, and that was about it in turrets. Just so horrible. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, demo feels like Xeno, but just better before lynching start. Jesus Christ. And they kind of go on and on. Yeah. So as you can guess, I mean, it's a pretty generalized consensus here that the Xeno is pretty underpowered, pretty weak, pretty terrible. I mean, it kind of goes without saying, right? Let's go ahead. I'm gonna quickly read another one that was said here. This person says, I was the same way, big fan of AVP since childhood. I got Xeno to P100, but Ripley, she just feels like an original survivor cosplaying as Ripley. I still play Xeno every once in a while, and I'm comfortable playing Xeno. It's probably my best killer. But when Xeno came out, I must have overplayed them because their MMR skyrocketed to a level where every other killer on my list got bumped to a new soft cap, whatever they call it, and Xeno is now 90% Swift, SWAT, bully teams, and 10% normal solo queue rounds, making him very frustrating to play since his biggest weakness is teams coordinating turret placement. Now, this is like something that I have stated many times that applies to a lot of characters in this game, and it quite literally is the idea that your MMR exists. And finally, somebody mentions it. When you decide to play killer as frequently as you do survivor, your MMR will rise. And then of course you're going to end up facing Swift and the bully squads constantly. You're going to have 4-minute and 30-second games like we've seen on my stream. That's just the standard. That's how it goes. So it's understandable that people become burnt out. It's understandable that people are just bored and tired. It just makes sense. They also stated, they say, I wouldn't mind a rework to the whole thing. He could be a stealth killer or something, or the facehuggers could be a death timer effect like Pig's Traps. But if you think about Resident Evil Infection, survivors should be dead from those too, but have antidotes readily available. You could probably throw in some automated surgical removal stations or something that could be pulled out like the jigsaw boxes, which I like that as well. I thought that Xeno, to be honest, it would make sense that if they had it so that the face hugger, you know, because if you've even seen the movies, you understand how it works. The second that the face hugger's on them, they usually get like knocked to the ground or something like that, and then from there, it tries to inject, the Xeno creation fluid, I guess, in there, and then from there it forms in their insides and then pops out later. So I think in itself could work similar to Pig, but maybe don't make it like 120,000 seconds or something stupid like that. But maybe make it a threat where it's like you gotta find some kind of way to remove it or, deactivate it in some kind of way. I think it'd be pretty interesting to see that. You know what I mean? And it would be interesting that if you were to say get downed or like with 2 hooks, like maybe they can have the facehugger jump out right of the chest as the Mori, like the little mini Mori. I guess you could have it as well, which I think would be really nice. You know what I mean? I think that'll be really cool. So yeah. Now this person mentioned something like that. They said they were comparing it to Demogorgon, which I don't think is even remotely the same thing. At least to me, because I think they just play completely differently. To me, but uh, I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, and I think somebody also disagreed with them as well. Now, here's another one that's interesting too. It says, I think it's a case of them not being very interesting or fun to play. It doesn't matter how strong or balanced the killer is. If they're not fun to play, then killers don't want to touch them, or rather, players don't. It says we have several lower tier killers who are played more than higher tiers that are undoubtedly more viable, but they're just not as fun to play as. Or I guess it says, artist cross who twins in singularity. So, do we agree or disagree with that? I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I wouldn't say that singularity in Cross are necessarily low tier, um, but they are more fun to play from that character as well. But yeah, um, now this other person says is that Springtrap power corrupt Xeno and Demogorgon. They say that survivors can disable your power as long as slight hindrance when they lock on cameras, but also means the survivor who's using the camera is not doing a gen. They can use the doors to traverse the map, but they risk getting grabbed. So Springtrap has a better anti-loop and can be undetectable whenever he wants, which is yeah. Now the problem with Springtrap is that they are notified with the doors that you're coming through, so I think that's still pretty stupid. But besides that, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, right? And I just think that it's really hilarious to me that we have players crying essentially that they're not seeing their favorite character when they play Survivor 90% of the time, and somehow forget that it's like, yeah, like obviously we're not. Like it's like, are we forgetting the meta we're in? You know what I mean? It's like it boils down to that same conclusion. Like we're getting like, do you realize the meta we're in? Do you realize like the stupid stuff that we had to deal with in this goddamn game? Ridiculous. And for some reason, that's just like forgotten, ignored, who knows? Like whatever explanation you could think of, it's stupid. You know what I mean? And it's like, duh. Like, you know, and at least speaking for myself, like I don't play Xeno for that exact reason. The character feels quite clunky. I feel like I'm way too low to the ground, which makes it really hard to see. And I'm in Ghostface for crying out loud, and I try not to crouch at like as much as I can because it's just you can't see that much of your screen. Like when you're standing, you at least have a much better view of where the survivors are. But if you're gonna be crouching, most of the stuff that's on the ground, bushes or like trash piles in Auto Haven or whatever have you, plants or corn or whatever it may be, or like on the farm maps, like they're all just gonna be blocking your view. So you just don't really have as much of a, you know, camera as you would normally, right? And then you're kind of forced into it because you can't stand up, you can't do that on the Xeno. Like you're in crawler until you get put out basically of it with the flamethrowers. And of course it's a little bit obnoxious hearing the squealing of the Xeno as well when you're getting burned all the time, and then like every 2 freaking seconds. It's annoying. It's way too much like noise pollution, and like it's annoying as hell to listen to, and the screeching and stuff like that as well. Like it just like you don't really feel like you're intimidating, bro. If they actually made the Xeno a little bit more accurate to the movies, which they never would, but if they did, I think they'd be more playable and more scary, which would be nice. Like it'd be cool to have another stealth killer added to the actual roster, considering we don't really have true stealth killers. You know, Myers was called a stealth killer for ages. He barely had any stealth in his kit. You know, keep that in mind, right? Like Ghostface is still considered one of the #1, like the definitive sort of, you know, stealth killer, right? Because he's the only one that really has stealth as his main thing, right? Even Chucky doesn't even have good stealth. Like his stealth is pretty terrible, especially because of his little giggle, which I mean, of course, it's hilarious to listen to, but it still is not accurate to a direct stealth killer. I mean, even Pig, I would argue, is even better at doing that because of the whole like they're pretty quiet and for the most part until they start like growling or whatever when they use their ambush. But still, so I want to know your guys' thoughts, of course, in the comment section. What do you think of the topic today? And pretty much hit that like button, maybe leave a comment, and maybe sub for more content. I'll see you guys in the next one.